But you're going to go to Maine instead.
I'm going to go to Maine.
But did anybody seriously approach you about? Did somebody approach you to do that? How did that get out there?
I mean, yeah, people. I mean,
people
someone
approached you,
yeah,
and what were the conversations?
Well, I'm in journal. I mean, all I've ever done since I left college was be in journalism, so it's sort of hard.
And that qualifies
to even,
for the Libertarian.
Well, that's exactly. It's the Libertarian Party. I grew up. My father was kind of a crypto-libertarian. I remember going to libertarian meeting or two when I was little.
School?
Yes. No. I went to a very left-wing school. That's why I got so.
What school did you go to? You went to.
I went to a number of different very.
How about here? Where did you
left-wing
go to school?
I didn't go here.
You didn't go here
I
at
was
all?
in boarding school when my parents moved here.
Okay. So where did they send you?
And I came to your restaurant when I come home on vacation because they would serve me.
Yes. It wasn't mine then.
No.
and the drinking age was probably different.
Right. Well, I was
too.
16. I don't think there was a 16-year-old drinking age.
Right,
I want to thank
no,
you for that.
Not on my watch. But your father is a very interesting character. He is a man of many hats. Is he still with us?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Many
Talked to him this
careers.
morning.
He's done many. Did that shape you? Because you're a man of. You say you're a journalist only, but you really are many things.
Well, yeah. I mean, my dad did many things, and he always had a kind of cheery attitude toward failure and getting fired. Not that
of all his jobs, which one did he like best? Do you think?
I think he liked being a magazine writer. Mm-hmm. I think.
And of all your jobs, what do you like?
I liked being a magazine writer. I mean, it's very hard to write a good magazine piece. It takes a very long time, and it's intense.
Are you more of a writer than a talker?
Oh no, I've embraced the oral tradition entirely.
You like it?
Oh, I'm like Sitting Bull. I don't know the written word at this point. I just.
What are you right now? You are a.
I am.
I'm
the chief campaign correspondent for NBC News, Carol.
Through MSNBC.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
what does that mean? Not clear.
Was that a renegotiation of the contract you had when you were doing your talk shows, or is it the what's left of your contract?
No, I don't actually have a contract.
You don't, so you can do whatever you want.
I can do whatever I want, but they were NBC very nice to me and just said, why don't you become our chief campaign correspondent? And I said, I was kind of holding out for field marshal or archbishop, but they're like, no, this is what we're giving you.
Was it Rick Kaplan who brought you in there?
Yes, Kaplan hired me at both CNN and MSNBC. Hasn't hired me at CBS yet, but we're holding out hope.
But there's still time. Because I go way back with Rick too.
I like Rick.
I go way back with some of your bosses. I know Rick very well. And what were you two envisioning that you were going to do? What was the plan?
Well, TV shows are impossible to plan. They evolve. I mean, you sit around for a month in meetings. Yeah, trying to figure out, whoa, what should we do here? And this block will be this. And, you think of all these ludicrously complicated...
But do you think they served you well? Do you think they supported you?
No, come on. Do you think they did?
Well, it's not my opinion that matters. It's yours.
No, I'm not a whiner
I'm
at
not
all.
asking you to whine, but you went in there, and what happened?
They were super nice to me. No, I got into a kind of I got into it with some people there shortly after getting there, and I think that
there's a lot of bait and switch in TV.
There's some bait and switch, and but I'm not mad about it. I actually had a great time.
How do you keep from getting mad working in television?
I fly fish a lot.
Okay.
Honestly, in the Potomac, and do quite well. Not to brag. That's a great question because it's a very emotional environment. It's an emotional medium, just inherently. Television is about conveying emotion.
And it feels personal, but you can't take it that way.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
That's a very tough...
That's exactly right. Because, but you can take it that way because actually, it's
your person.
That's right. It's not like they're, rejecting the corporate... No, they're rejecting you. The show's named after you. People aren't watching. They don't like you.
And it's the way they tell you sometimes that...
So the question is, how much do you care about the approval of strangers? That's the key question. That's why most people on TV are so awful.
How do you keep yourself from getting addicted
so
to the feelings of strangers?
Well, I've got 4 children and a wife, and I just made a decision, and many close friends who live here. And my decision, my worldview in general, is I care about the approval of the people I love, and that's it.
You had another boss who I go way back with, Phil Griffin. And how did that go down?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, I mean, Rick was there at the beginning, and Phil was there at the end of your show.
Phil was there. Rick left, and Phil took over.
Isn't that sometimes difficult when you have the person who brings you in, and then there's this other person who inherits you?
Mm-hmm.
And did you see? Did you and Phil?
You've been doing some research. Yeah, I mean, no, I've always gotten along with Phil very well, and continue to. I mean, look, TV it's the opposite of a magazine. I mean, you know, Harold Ross and William Shawn were at the helm of the New Yorker from 1925 to 1980, basically. Okay, it was a totally pretty static environment. TV is exactly the opposite. It's every 20 minutes there's somebody new with a brand new vision who starts off by firing everybody. I mean, that's just what it is. You can't be surprised when it happens to you.
Which way could it be done that could make it work for you? I mean, is there a way of doing a TV show that would work for you?
Oh, absolutely.
What would that be?
I would like an interview show.
Uh-huh.
You know,
well, isn't that sort of what you had? Or
no. I mean, look, the form is very unpopular. Two people do it, Larry King and Charlie Rose.
Yeah.
Basically sitting down.
Hey, wait, there's a third one right
Well,
there.
absolutely. And you do it very well.
So far.
But I like that. I think it's an interesting, with a black background
right. And that
enhances the drama of the human face, which is like the most dramatic thing there is.
Or this lovely room of people.
That's right. Well, if I had a restaurant, I would do it in one.
Yeah.
There's no enthusiasm for that concept. And I have pitched it to
tell me about
every network there is. And it's considered dry and static and boring and old school in a bad way. And that's all right,
Because it's hard to put sound effects in under a legitimate interview.
But, I mean, there are a couple long-term trends that I think suggest it will be popular again. One is everything is popular again in TV because there are only like 3
Just
ideas.
hang in there.
That's exactly right. Nobody has had a new idea in television since Philo Farnsworth invented it. Two, the fragmentation of the spectrum is such that we're going to be getting more specific rather than less, right?
Yeah.
So there will be channels for, there'll be fetish channels, and this is a kind of fetish.
Fetish channels.
No, I'm serious though. There will be a channel for people who are interested in long-form interviews.
Let's you and I start a fetish network,
yeah,
and
baby.
we'll have our,
No, I meant fetish in a broader sense.
It's not a bad thing. Before we leave TV, though, I do want to go back to something we just hit on a little bit because so much has been made out of it. And there are things out there on the web that you were not happy with always your colleagues at MSNBC and their point of view about the campaign. Did you sometimes feel that it was your role to sort of be I don't want to say the crazy conservative, but for lack of a better, are you scripted in a way to come in and did you feel that Chris Matthews had an agenda and that Andrea Mitchell had an agenda? Did you feel these were agendas that were locked in? Or did you feel people were open to the campaign, open to Hillary, open to Obama, open to McCain? Or did you know you were always going to come in and they were going to have a point of view?
Well, the only show I ever felt that way about was Crossfire, because the form of the show, the format, sort of pushes you right.
Okay.
But I have never felt that way for a single moment on MSNBC. I never have a problem with people's
Why
opinions.
do you think people
they had a
think
problem
then
with my
that
opinions,
people were that not just MSNBC but
right.
in general that they were pro-Obama and anti-Hillary?
Why?
How did it manifest itself?
Why is the press for Obama? For a couple of very obvious reasons. One
How did it manifest itself?
Well, in every possible way. I mean, there was literally a host whom I like, and but I'm not going to single him out by name, who began,
MSNBC?
No, not on MSNBC, who began an interview with Obama at the very height of the Reverend Wright business by saying, I'll have you know, this show is above that story, and we're not going to ask you a single question about the Reverend Wright.
And this was a network?
Yeah. This is a big-time famous person, and my feeling was,
however
you feel about that story, you don't ever take a newsworthy topic off the table at the beginning of an interview. That's insane. And he was applauded by everybody in the newsroom. Like, oh, really? He's high-minded. Huh? I mean, I don't know.
And did you feel this? Do you feel this attitude prevailed off camera as well?
Big time. Are you kidding?
Did you see it more off camera?
I'm not just talking about. Look, this is all I've ever done. Every single person I know practically is in the press, so it's just the world I live in. So I'm not pointing fingers at my employer. I'm just saying, in general, there is this feeling. I'm trying not to use the word zeitgeist, but that's kind of what it is. Of we're in favor of Obama.